Hi everybody. Well, today was kind of entertaining, and I was not expecting some of the moments to happen, but they did. Okay. So, we're day two, so now all we have is witnesses, and the prosecution and defense both have their sides to ask questions, and also, um, something that's a little different in this trial is the jurors are able to ask questions. Now, I did see this in the Maya Kowalski case, but usually you don't see that. Um, okay, so um, we start with the same witness we had on the stand yesterday, Marissa Popple. Then we move on to Alexander Piatra, which is the maker of the firearm. Actual, like he makes firearms, his company, and he, unbeknownst to me, he directly checked the quality of this gun. But they honestly went a little light on him because really it's not his fault because he didn't manufacture a product that didn't work. Someone else misused it. So a different category there. Okay. Then we move on to the one of the detectives that interviewed Alec Baldwin and Hannah Gutierrez. And this is important because, well, before that, the prosecution got in part of the text of the phone call that he made in an interrogation video. Now, I think I talked about this a little bit before, but I didn't see the interrogation video until a couple days ago. And yeah, he just he told he made a phone call. He made at least two phone calls because the first phone call didn't go through for some reason. Then the second one did, and he talked to his wife and I think a nanny. And it is unbelievable. And if I didn't hear it myself, and hear it and see, I wouldn't believe it. He was talking to his wife, trying to convince her to come up to New Mexico, and he said, well, I have to stay here anyway, and you should come up and we should take a vacation because everything's paid for anyway. Meanwhile, he knows at least that one of his coworkers and supposedly best friends is in the hospital in critical condition. Now, I'm talking about both Joel Souza and Helena Hutchins. Now, for these purposes only, Helena Hutchins is a little more important than Joel Souza, only because Joel Souza only got shot, which is very funny and ironic to say, and I get that, but he was injured in the shoulder, so it wasn't exactly life threatening. However, we all know that Helena Hutchins passed away due to negligence and or involuntary manslaughter, which is what he's charged with, which we all know that. Okay, so the reason why this Piatras guy is important is because he explained how the firearm has to be manipulated for something to happen, meaning that you have to um, deal with the hammer and then pull the trigger and then something happens. So if if you want to say it can accidentally go off, not true. You have to, it's a single action, which means you have to do something in order for something else to happen. Very important fact there. Okay, so he was very important to the case. Very important. And also the sheriff or the lead. Well, she was one of the police officers who did interrogations, and so she's integral to the case too. Integral to the case too. Because if she didn't catch him in a way saying all that stuff, then they couldn't really prove that he had anything to do with it. But, well, this kind of goes into his personality, which I wanted to talk about a little bit too. And I didn't mention this yesterday, but it's true. Well, there's two things that are true, and they kind of overlap. How you look when you're in court matters, and I mean appearance wise, but also demeanor, body language. I've talked about this, but in this case, it's really important. Now, I said this before, but it's still true. Um, is it appropriate to smile in a murder trial or manslaughter? No. However, if you know that your face is always resting, mean face to clean it up, then yeah, you might want to at least a half smile or something. Just so that you don't look like you're pissed off and you don't want to be there. Because that's not a good look when you're a defendant. It's just not. Um, and also, there's a little piece of the puzzle that I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen here. I don't know if I think he wants to testify, and I would say it only because of his ego, but I don't think it would be wise for him to testify. So, do I know if he's going to? Not entirely sure, but I would say he's not. I would advise against it, but that's personally me. But then again, personally me also, I would just not talk at all to the police until I had a lawyer present. So, just little things. Um, yeah, so, um, yeah, I think that his own mouth is going to get him in trouble, honestly. And I really don't think, which I said this too, but I really don't think that there's anything he could say or do to refute all the evidence they have against him. Now, there might be a twist in this that I don't see coming, but right now, I haven't seen it. And what's funny is I was watching it again on Runkle of the Bailey, which, like I said before, you guys should watch it on that channel on YouTube. Um, but he actually agreed with me. He prefers the other woman, Jackson, one of the prosecuting attorneys, as opposed to Morrissey, because Morrissey is just too, I don't know, like between too mean and too aggressive on everything. And he thinks that the uh put her putting her glasses on, taking her glasses off, putting it on her head, taking it off her head is a tick, but I think it's also like a tactic to get people off their game. So that's what I believe. Because if it was a tick, she would do it no matter what. And I've seen her in meetings on the Zoom, and she doesn't do that. She only does it in court. So I don't understand. Okay, and I think that their witness list is going to be short because, like I said, I think this case is supposed to be wrapped up in 8 or 9 days total, so they don't have a lot of time, you know. And then plus, the judge is keeping actual time for both sides. So she really means business. I really appreciate her as a judge because she keeps the court like going, moving. So I appreciate that. All right, bye guys. Thanks for the support.